Normal player Guy, and welcome back for another video. This video will focus on the top 10 easy aid units that had the best gains. Now, very difficult to do, but I thought I'd just compromise this list to showcase that just not every powerhouse unit, just not every top tier Dokkenfest exclusive unit that comes out is always works out the best with the easy A. Now, some of these people on the list will surprise you, and probably some of them don't. So that depends on how savvy you are. So we'll start at number 10, and the first three or four are largely along the same, where they got a little bit of defense added, and that was really it, but it worked the most, especially for what they could pull for the teams. Coming in at number 10 is Blue Vegeta. So basically, this guy did the same as he does now. So he gains a little bit, he builds up attack with every rotation, and when he transforms, he builds up crit. Except now that he becomes a powerhouse, he now gains like 100% on super attack, and then he gets 30% on top of it. And as I say, it builds as for the following, and then when he crit, and then in transformed state, he builds up those crits, and he has 100% on super attack as well. It's absolutely crazy. This guy goes absolutely nuts. I mean, he when he came out, he was brilliant, but now he's like really brilliant. There could probably be a new unit standalone just like him. That would be a nice compliment. That does something largely similar. And between the two, they're going to put out some ridiculous numbers. Coming in at number 9, benefited them greatly more is Gogeta, Super Saiyan 4, and Fusion Lead. So, of course, as you expect, just by slapping in a bit of defense, greatly worked out for this unit. Now, this unit really worked out in GT Heroes, as it worked out just as good as the Int version of himself, and on Fusion is probably one of the best leads going. If you don't have the 180% from the LR Fusion, this guy is still just as good. And in the content that you'd use him for, you ain't going to miss that 10%, believe me. As I say, this guy, he still lowers the enemy's attack just by being his passive. He builds up additional attack and defense with supers, only two supers. The fact that he greatly raises attack and defense is good now. So this guy benefited greatly from having a little extra put into it, and he still maintains the 70% counter for supers. So coming in next at number 8 is again the same principle is AGL Turles. So again, slapped on defense, and what do you know? He becomes good. And of course, he's also a fantastic support that he now gives defense in his support. It is against a superclass enemy, but considering you're supposed to run this guy against superclass people for a team of movie bosses and even low class warrior, you could do really, really well in this. That's not a problem. Terrifying Conquerors as well is become an absolute demonic team now, especially at the STR range. But this guy, alongside the LR Turles, this guy beats the LR Turles hands down. Um, I don't have him Rainbow. I have him about 90%, but I have all his links triggered. And all his links at number 10. And partnered with that LR Turles, he's at 298k. And that's before he supers. So again, he has defense on his super now and more in his passive. He is so felt in the teams like, for example, Low Class Warrior, that it's just unbelievable. And he helps out in movie bosses, which is extremely difficult for Super Battle Road. So now the next one that we have now will be the next one will be Int Gotenks with Ghost. It's a free to play unit, but of course there was a few others that could have made this list. But yes, this guy. So the Gotenks and Ghost free to play. So heals with Rainbow. He will heals more with Rainbow, not just a small amount now. Deals was it like 9,999? Basically 10,000 HP per orb, right? Per Rainbow orb. And he also gets attack and defense per orbs, right? And he greatly raises his stats on super, and he has a great chance to stun. It's like a 70% chance to stun. Fantastic unit, right? Great support, great floater. Works brilliantly where you want to use a time limit as well, and fusion. Probably more so time limit because there's a bit of overlap, but time limit's a little on the weaker side. This guy benefited when he came out. He got a lot. His stats just what he did in his passive was buffed. And again, it's largely the same deal as the rest, but those made out for some big gains. Right, so coming in at number 6 to round out the last five is the chunks. Specifically, we're talking about the physical and STR mega chunks, the big hulking chunks. Specifically the STR, because he does a little bit more for the first few turns. So this guy's underrated, and not a lot of people actually value this guy too much. But he comes off the bat with a tremendous amount of with stats. So he's a good all type lead for 60%. So if you pull this guy and you're looking for an all types to grind away for links, he could be fairly good. He now gives 30% to his stats. He has 100% at the start of turn, and then he gets an additional key and stats for each turn that is passed. So you just need 2 turns to pass 2 rotations, and he's at 200% with 4 key and this, right? And you get an additional 100% for the first 10 turns at the start of turn. So flat out, turn 1, you're getting 200%. And then on what turn 3, if you know, with second rotation, you've got 300% attack and defense. It's absolutely crazy. And of course, you have a high chance of stunning the attacked enemy. That's just on attack. If there's a Vegeta on the team, that's just it. That's just flat out. If there's in Super Battle Road, Extreme Super Battle Road, or just Infinite Dragon Ball History, or just any content against like the Fighting Legend events, this guy's an absolute demon, right? He's got the stun chance just on attack. I mean, look, flat out 200%. You look at the LRs that have come out, and they're packing 200% at the start of turn as well. And this guy gets even more. Again, this wears off at the end. So you end up with like what 200%, 230. I think the physical one edges him out at like 240%. I think afterwards, because he gets like 200 or something as well. Plus he gets effects. He has prepare for battle, which is an extra 5% defense as well. He has world lineage, which is a nice attack and 2 key to work with Vegeta. Let's see anything else. Messenger from the future is attack. So I mean, this guy, believe it or not, is really powerful. This guy helps out in Battlefield a lot, because in Battlefield you're only running like 100, something between 90 and 120% for your leads, right? This guy with his 200% at the start really helps to just show up any weaknesses in Battlefield. So again, a lot of people respect this guy. And the physical one is a bit more basic. He just gets 200% and 4 key, and that's basically it, right? Uh, so that's all that he does. But it's still basically the same. This guy's good because he has the additional, and he now has the stun chance. Just 50% chance to stun on attack, just any attack with Vegeta in the team. It's absolutely mental, right? Right, so that rounds out the bottom five. Now you think that this guy does a lot with his chance to stun and his crazy stats. What are the rest come into play as? So number 5 is the physical Super Saiyan 2 Gohan from the World Tournament. Of Buu Saga rather. So this guy is good. So he's probably one of the best supports, especially for Superclass, especially for Goku family. So he greatly raises stats. He gives all allies 35% in 2 key. And of course, he also has a nice 30% chance to dodge, 35% chance to dodge after he's done 4 super attacks, which is bit of an odd one, but it's just nice to have, right? This guy, especially if you double supers, becomes very tough to take down. Just having that 2 key 35%, he works so well with links, especially like Super Saiyan 2s, Goku family, just basically any transformation, any Super Saiyan 1, 2, or 3, really. Any golden hair boys out there, that's really what he works out as. He's a fantastic one. Great floater. Whereas this guy would be like a fantastic slot 1. He'd be like the perfect slot 3. So rolling out at number 4, we have Namek Goku. So Namek Goku, he was good as he had a Super Saiyan and Namek Saga lead. Now that it's a 170 across the board for the lot, is good. This guy was okay when he came out, and he stacked in his other form, in his transformation state, which you probably wanted to have you can get now because things are just damn hard in the game. But now that he has like triple the buffs that he got, triple the stats from when he first came out, and that every time he gets hit in this form, he just uh he he builds stats, doesn't he? To like, was it like 100% or something, or 80% or something when he gets hit. So it makes him tough to take down. In his transform state, he still stacks, but he does a lot more. He has more stats. So again, this guy, he just worked out well, and his rage mechanic got a little extra better as well. They upped the damage on the rage mechanic, making it more worthwhile. So this guy, they just gave him more, but for the team that he's on and his impact and his presence, he is absolutely up in number 4. Now, in number 3, rounding out 3 is God Goku. Tech God Goku. This will be a real quick one on him because we all know what this guy does. So again, with this guy, so he reduced damage by 77% for movie bosses. Now he does it for pure Saiyans, which is him and this guy, just for example, and this guy, for example. Um, it's half the game. It's good against, say that it's good against Red Zone Broly. It's good against the Red Zone just in general. They are a fantastic partner for the 7th anniversary God units. They're a fantastic partner for the LR physical Blue Boys, as they require Rainbow Orbs, and this guy's a Rainbow Orb changer. He has a seal. He raises stats on super. He has additional 70% to stats if you get 2 Rainbow Orbs, which is easy enough. He generates them. So great that he has that damage reduction and the extra buffs, and just on Rainbow, and just what he can do. They gave him so much. It really, the guy's winning deal here is the 77% damage reduction against Pure Saiyans added on top as well, which is just makes this guy just unstoppable, right? And as well, movie heroes. As well, Cell Max qualifies as a movie boss. Sorry, Cell Max qualifies as a movie boss. Mind you, when this guy gets supered, even after he raises his defense and gets 2 Rainbow Orbs, he's still taking like north of 300k. But again, normals, he is an absolute pinnacle. They just gave him a lot, really, just one thing, and it became a lot. So now we're down to the top 2, and we now have Vegito Blue and this Super Saiyan Goku. Now, this Goku, a lot of people will probably think, well, why is he on the list, or is he representing another Goku? But he's not. He's actually not. So we check. Let's see. How can I reveal this? Well, I'll tell you what. We'll go for number 2. So the person I have in number 2 is Vegito Blue. Vegito Blue is in number 2. The reason being he's in number 2, we'll get to him as number 1. So after his Easy A, he's a great lead for 48% stats for Superclass. So it's great for people farming links. So just in general, really, if you knew. Prior to this, he was 3 key 50%. And again, you pull this guy or get him with coins or something like that, and you're new. This is still good for new players. That is amazing. You're not going to you're not going to easy A this guy if you're a new one, but he's still good. So what really came into play is he now has starter turn stats, and he now greatly raises stats as a 50% raise. You think that's any more crazier? So he received damage from normal attacks by 40%. That was 30% prior. So he made him even better. So this guy has built-in damage reduction. So what makes this guy good with this, what makes him more, is he has those 2 additional attacks. So the great chance of 2 additional attacks. So what it works out is the first one's guaranteed, and the second one has a 70% chance. And from then onwards, that can trigger the hidden potential system. So if you're the first one, so you get a super attack, you're greatly raising on top of stats, so it actually is worthwhile. And then you get your 2 additional. Let's say one of them becomes a super attack, you're greatly raising, right? And then your third attack is not, but your fourth attack's a hidden potential system. It triggers, and you're greatly raising again. So you have 3 greatly raises. I think I've seen people do like 7 super attacks with this guy in a turn, and he just becomes unreal. What also makes this greatly raise great is he counters normal attacks, and So this really helps out in terms of damage, that he greatly raises attack as well for his counters. So you want to spec this guy for crits. You could go a little additional, but you want to go pretty much full crit, because this guy, he reduces damage, right? He has starter turn stats, he greatly raises, which means he's one of the few counter units that is comparable with an LR, because he's just so good. He's so powerful. And as they buffed this by an additional 10%, 40% is nothing to sniff at. Even in difficult content, you will find this works. I used this guy to defeat Shenron in the final stage of Red Zone, of the GT Red Zone, and even to do it in under 7 turns, 8 turns. What is it? So, because this guy, he in the first and last phase, you have type advantage. He reduces the damage, just saves and items, and if they just hit hard, he can. He doesn't really take a super attack that all well unless you've had like 4 super attacks. But outside of him not taking that well, you can just stick him in front of a lot of attacks. Especially if this guy goes first a couple of times to get a couple of stacks on this, right? And this guy is crazy. So this is at number 2. Arguably, you could put number 1 because it all gels together. The super attack effect works well with his passive. So coming up now, we have the number 1. And number 1, I have this guy. I just have to have this Super Saiyan Goku. Now, he easy aid a little time back. When did these? So he easy aid 2 years ago, right? That's not so bad. But I mean, this guy's defense now, even on like a 200% lead, is nothing fantastic. It's still at about 100k, and he doesn't do anything on his super attack effect to raise his stats. But by God, did they change this guy? So this guy went from this, which is just numbers, and then he went to this. So prior to this, he had a 50% chance to stun. He now has a 70% chance to stun. On top of that, he has a 50% chance to crit if you're over 50% health, and you have a 70% chance to crit if you're under 50% health. And you gain an extra 20% and 1 key to stat. You're still only in about 100k defense. That just is. I mean, even after his easy A, he's rocking 9,000. Right, that's terrible. I mean, no, that's probably more like. I don't think that's quite right. If that really is right after his easy A, that's horrendous. Because I would expect that probably more to be something on the realm of like 11,000. But this guy crits, stuns, all type lead, works well with movie heroes, Pure Saiyans, works well. Every single one of these, he's an absolute clutch. I mean, you just go pure additional with this guy because he has a 50% chance to crit with a 70% chance to stun. Imagine double super. Like, what are the chances that a double super on a unit that can be stunned doesn't work? It's just not going to happen, right? It's a lot like the Ink Gotenks Ghost. That's why he's on here. I mean, just 100% stats, and you got a 70% chance to crit with a 70% chance to stun. Yeah, no, this guy definitely got the best gains out of any easy 8. That's why he's number 1. You must remember, this is the unit that had, these are the top 10 units I think had the most gains, non-LR. There is a free-to-play unit in there, which just goes to show the caliber that there is. The next video could probably be a LR list of all the ones going. But remember, this is the top 10 gained, the best, the units that went into the Easy A and came out way above the rest in terms of what they do. Again, you could shuffle around the order. I mean, don't forget, I mean, I could easily place this guy into like the top 3. He's that good. You know, I could move this guy down because it's just pure Saiyans and movie bosses. I could put this guy as number 1 because of how well he works. So yeah, that's going to be the top 10 best gains from Easy Age units. So I hope this video was enlightening because there's a few things on here that's going to trigger some people, that's for sure. But until the next time, bye bye.